everybody. On today's show, we have very special guests, Moe and Dawn from Gossip Grill. We're going to get into everything about Gossip Grill, what they've been doing during the pandemic, and a little bit about booze and alcohol, bourbons to buy, whiskeys to buy, all of that fun stuff, and much, much more. So grab a cocktail and enjoy. Everybody, welcome to another episode of Who Invited Her. We are San Diego's LGBTQ pop culture podcast. I am your host, Tony, and I am here with the Gilbert Godfrey of drag, Miss Mariam T.
Hi, it's she, her, me, Miss Mariam T. Hello.
Yes. She is back this week. And producer Rob, the one who shushes you in the library, is here too. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, everybody. I'm here too.
Yes, and we have very special guests. We have a Moe. I know I'm gonna mess up the last names. I always do on this show. Moe Gerton and Dawn Stoltz. Yes, from Gossip Grill, going to be joining us today for the full hour. Welcome, ladies. How are you this morning?
Amazing.
Fantastic. So for people who don't know, Gossip Grill here in San Diego, we've talked a lot on our show. But Moe, you're the owner of Gossip Grill. So it's a pleasure to have you on the show and get into what Gossip Grill is all about, because it is one of the last lady bars in America, which I find astonishing. But are you both, Dawn and Moe, are you both from San Diego originally, or are you guys transplants?
I am actually from Southern California, close.
Okay.
I grew up in LA, Riverside, Orange County, and then moved here about 20 years ago. And Dawn is what, fourth generation?
Actually fourth generation San Diego native, and all from Hillcrest and North Park.
Oh, really?
Great grandmothers, yeah.
See, yeah, native here too, born and raised. But I was South Bay and East County. And then I came out here when I came back to San Diego and stuff. But yeah.
Yep.
So you remember... Dawn, you remember North Park before when you went to North Park to get drugs and hookers, and it was just like, it was rough. It isn't the North Park like as of today.
It was always gays and elderly. That was what it was. My mom ran a salon on 30th Street for, she was there for, I think like 40 some years. When she finally retired, the woman that ran the salon was 98 years old.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what year did you get here, Moe, to San Diego?
I moved here August of 99.
99. So both of you remember when Hillcrest had way more gay bars than it does now. Like, there was just so many. The Flame. And that's where I remember seeing Moe for the first time, was the Flame, because you were a bartender at the Flame back in the day. And I used to love the Flame.
There.
Yeah. How long did you work at the Flame before you moved on from there?
I worked there for 3.5 years. I can tell the story later because it's a great story, but I started as a security guard and then worked my way up to bartender manager. Yeah. And I worked until the last day it was open under Carla Kosho.
Yeah, so that was a great,
and then I got hired at Baja Betty's the same weekend. The last weekend the Flame was open was the first weekend that we were training for Betty's, so I was pulling double duty.
Wow. Oh, wow. And it was that part of Hillcrest on Park. We had the Flame was there, Numbers was there. We had Bourbon Street back in the day, and Lay Lounge was right next to that. And all of those places, unfortunately, are gone now, which is so sad.
Yeah.
But even in San Diego, the number of, I guess you could say, lesbian bars, there's only one. You guys, and Moe, you don't market it as a lesbian bar. It's a women's bar. So what made you decide?
Yeah, I went head to head with my business partners on that, and almost walked out of the deal because they wanted it to be a lesbian bar, and I knew it wasn't going to survive as a lesbian bar. Number one, number two, I just don't work that way, and I like the whole everybody, everything. So we are a women's bar. So we cater to all women, straight, gay, bi, pans, whatever. It doesn't matter, everything in between. And the LGBTQ plus community. Kind of like I say, and the LGBTQ plus alphabet, we're capital L and capital T.
Oh, I love that. And that's how gossip, since day one, I remember it. It's like because it's like everybody's welcome. And there used to be more lesbian bars here, like 6 Degrees and Bombay Lounge. I remember going to those places so many
I'm going to
times.
Bombay.
Yeah,
At
Bombay.
one point, there was 3. There was
Three.
Patty's front office was in there too.
Yeah.
And now Gossip Grill is the only one in California.
That is shocking.
Wow.
Why is
That's in the
that?
United States.
Why is that, do you think?
My personal opinion is a lot of lesbian bars are dyke bars. You know, they are strong lesbian bars. And a lot of, usually when you think about a gay bar outside of San Diego, you think, oh, scary dyke bar. I'm not, as a male, you know, I'm not welcome there. And that doesn't work in this day and age. You know, you have to be able to pivot and you have to be able to read the room, sort of say. And our success is being open to everybody and everything, but still keeping it a safe, fun place for women. But a lot of those bars didn't want to change the way. They wanted to stay who they were, and it just doesn't work in this time anymore.
No, that's very, very true.
I mean, one of my favorite things about Gossip Grill is that it is a trans folks in general safe space, but so many trans women feel safe at Gossip Grill, and I love that. There's so many safe spaces needed. It really is a women's bar.
It really, really is. I've always loved going to Gossip because I feel like I don't have to be on in front of all the gay men and have the perfect gay men aesthetic. I go to Gossip.
Yes,
gay men are exhausting.
I know they are.
We're
I hear that all the
exhausting.
time.
Yeah.
I hear that all the time. It's like, I like coming here because I don't have to work so hard.
Oh, you're so
I
right.
can just
It's
see
so
myself.
true.
And the lesbian drama is not the gay boy drama. And the gay boy
God,
drama is
no.
not the lesbian drama.
Oh God, no.
Good.
Totally different.
I
It is so
completely
true.
agree.
Yeah.
Going
So
out is
when did you decide to open Gossip Grill? Like, when did that happen, and how did the concept of Gossip Grill come about?
So in 2009, I worked at Betty's for 4.5, almost 5 years.
Yeah.
About 5 years. And I was their number one salesperson. I had created my own business within a business. You know, I was top seller in one of the top sellers in the company. And Stefan came to me and asked me, what do you think about opening a lesbian bar? And I was like, absolutely not. I mean, I had worked at the Flame. I was a manager at the Flame. No, thank you. I love my boys. I loved what I did. I made great money. I worked 26 hours a week and I was very happy. So no, thank you. And he was kind of shocked. So he came back at me again in a few weeks later and offered again. And I turned it down a second time. And then him and Chris came to me and there was some ownership dangled at that point. So it was no longer a GM position. It was like a GM ownership position. And so then I said, yes. But then the one thing was that it had to be a women's bar.
And how did they take that instead of your original?
Not well.
No, really.
No, we kind of, it's so funny now because I never fight with my business partners. We get along really, really well. And we have a great working relationship. We work together now for, 11 years and I never fight with them. But that day it was a full on fight. We were at a coaching seminar with our business coach in downtown LA at the Crown Hotel or something like that in the lobby. And it was a full on, like standing up, like, this is how it needs to be. And like, it's not going to work. It needs to be a lesbian bar. And I'm like, it finally came down to, here's the deal. It's either a women's bar or I walk and I go back to Betty's and you're all on your own.
Yeah.
Like there was no negotiating. And Stefan was kicking me under the table saying, stick to your guns, stick to your guns. But he wasn't standing up and saying anything. I'm like, help me.
But I think it was a big payoff. I mean, Gossip is a staple in our community, and it's been for
one
a
of the top
long
women's
time.
bars in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only 15, but I think we're number one.
Yeah.
We're usually ranked first or second. So
If you sell it on paper, we're probably ranked number one.
But it's incredible, especially for California, that it's the only one in California, which is still shocking to me. But it's been how have you guys been handling the pandemic, and how has that changed your business? Because I know it's affected everybody. But for you guys, how did that
really
happen?
has. I mean, Gossip is a nightclub bar for you folks that are not in San Diego. We are a one-stop shop under one roof. We are food, brunch, lunch, dinner. We are bar. We are nightclub, entertainment, shows, comedy, drag. We're everything under one roof. But 80% of our business comes from nightclub and bar. So losing that right now and it not coming back anytime soon, it's really forced us to pivot and really concentrate on our food and become a restaurant. But one thing that we cannot deny about Gossip is we're liquor forward. It's all about booze. Yeah. Our clientele likes to drink. So we've really had to be very creative and think outside the box and become your one-stop booze shop now. So we do lots of go cocktail kits and party packs and virtual reality events where you buy your drink kit and then make drinks with us. We are selling wholesale bottles. So we're doing a lot of these liquor events that is helping us move along through it, but it's not easy. We have one of the highest rents in Hillcrest.
Oh, I bet. And the menu at Gossip is so good. The mac and cheese is like bomb. It's so good. It's so good.
Don't get me started on that.
I know it is. It is the best when you get super high to order it. Have a cocktail and just pick out.
Every Wednesday night after bingo, I would just sit. I would have my lashes off, my contacts out, and my lipstick off, and I would just be sitting in my underwear on my couch eating that grilled cheese,
so good.
Trying to soak up 3 to 30 martinis
and
before I could even get in the shower.
Oh yeah, Dawn, the meatloaf. Yeah, it's so bomb.
So I haven't had the meatloaf yet.
No, it's good. It's really good. How did you two meet, Dawn and Moe? How did you guys meet? And how long have you guys been together?
We have been together for
over 10 years.
10 years.
Oh, like Robbie and I. Okay.
We've been together over 10 years, and we actually met at Gossip.
Yep.
I know.
Really?
I have a really strict rule. I don't date guests. I don't date regulars. I've never dated a regular. That's rule number one for me. I don't sit where you eat, sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And her friend was sitting at my bar, asking me, "What's your type? What's your type? What's your type?" I'm like, "It doesn't matter. I'm not dating your friend. Leave my bar." You know, I was trying to be nice, and then he started getting really annoying. Yeah. And I'm like, "Move out of the way. I've got a line behind." He's like, "Just tell me your type." I'm like, "I'm not dating your friend." Like, let go.
I did not know this conversation was happening.
So Dawn was the friend.
Yeah.
I was the friend.
She wasn't
but
there.
Dawn,
I didn't see her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea.
But Dawn was also like, I don't date bartenders, right?
No.
Were you
I'm not dating the bartender. Because let me tell you, I love Dawn because Dawn's a bougie bitch.
Oh. Yeah. And then you guys met after that, and then it was just.
So she came out of the bathroom having this conversation with, his name is Scotty. He's got credit for making this all happen, even though at that time I was like, "Get out of my bar!" She came out of the bathroom and she was walking by. She's walking up to the bar, and I'm like, "Oh, huh." And she's up to the bar, and she's like, she actually asked. She didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
And she asked me. She's like, "So where's a place to go around here that's got more women? Like, where can I meet girls?" Like, obviously it wasn't working for her there.
Yeah.
You know, type thing. And I was all,
It was a quiet night.
It was a quiet night. It was early, actually.
It was early.
And Scotty was behind her, thumbs up, thumbs down. And I was like, yeah.
Thumbs
up.
Yeah.
And then here you are 11 years later.
I know. Gosh, exactly. But he actually had grabbed her information and had written it on a piece of paper. And we had I call it girl night, because Scotty would come and he'd spend the night at my house, and we would, we had he was my girlfriend, So we basically, the next morning, if we woke up, he had her information in his pocket and he'd actually thrown it away. And I pulled it out of the trash, and we looked her up. At that time, it was all about Facebook, and looked her up on Facebook, and Scotty did all the rest and started making that happen. And we ended up dating. So
yeah, we went on a date, it went really well. And then in true lesbian fashion, our second date, Mariam, you'll get a kick out of this. Our second date was driving to Las Vegas and seeing Stevie Nicks and staying the night.
Oh my God,
who does that on the second date?
It's either going to go really well, because that's a long drive.
That is that. You really get to know somebody on that drive. What if you guys were driving there and you realized, like, oh no, what did I do?
Left her there. I would have just come back on my own. Yeah.
Knowing each other now, where we're at, absolutely. She would have been like, "This isn't working for me. I'm just going to catch a flight back."
Yeah.
And I would have. I mean, I had my vehicle, so I had my truck, so I was fine.
I would have done the same thing as Dawn. I would have been like, "You know what? This isn't working. I got to go. Bye."
I could see Dawn. Like, I have points. This is fine. We're doing it.
Right.
Fine.
Yeah. We're going to
Absolutely.
stay very well, and either you're going to stay on your own, or it's going to go really well. But
Oh, how
it was a good thing. We
funny.
both were obsessed with Stevie Nicks, so it
Yeah.
was kind of an instant love affair. And now
Yeah.
we've seen her, gosh, I think almost 18 different times.
18?
Um,
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I've seen Stevie Nicks either in conjunction with Fleetwood Mac, Tom Petty, by herself,
Yeah.
concerts. Probably about
Yeah.
35 times,
Dang.
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
Talking about
All
super
over. We've
fans.
gone to New York. We've flown to New York. We see her all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, whatever.
Wow.
That's our.
That's a good story. I like that story. So, if somebody from San Diego was coming to San Diego and they were going to Gossip Girl for the very first time, what could they expect?
Gossip is an over-the-top fun experience. I always say it has a heartbeat of its own. It's one of those places that when you drive down the street, you can kind of feel the energy coming, and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
what's
Oh,
that
that's
place?"
true.
And when you go in, it's just warm and welcoming and fun and just over the top.
Yeah.
It's got a vortex. It sucks you in. You can't just go to Gossip for half hour, an hour.
Oh my
You're
God.
there
You don't
for
know how true
hours.
this is.
Yeah.
Because
And I would
Gossip
say-
opened. Go ahead, Don.
I was going to say also, if you have plans the next morning or you have to get up early, it's probably not going to be the place for you.
Exactly.
So that day, make sure that you are prepared to be horizontal the next day, because that's usually what happens. Or back in for
Right.
for a shampoo and heat.
Yes.
Yeah.
The dog. So Gossip opened October Halloween time, right? 2009.
Yeah, we
I want to
opened
say.
October 30th, 2009.
Yeah.
We opened during the middle of a recession in the rainiest year on record,
Yeah.
outdoor restaurant. I like a nice
2000
challenge.
2009, that October, September is when Rob and I first met and we started dating. So for us, Gossip, and we were talking about this before the show, Gossip Grill for us has been like a staple in kind of our relationship and in our lives, because separately, like, we had our own moments there. And then I was thinking back, I'm like, and we were talking about all of the adventures within our lives that have happened at Gossip Grill, and there are a lot. And I didn't realize that. I was like, yep, that was Gossip Grill. Yep, that was
Yep.
Gossip Grill. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And it was the old space. I remember the old space, which now is.
You know,
like,
my memory today, my memory on
Yeah.
Facebook popped up. It was Gossip is moving. It was the ad for
it's
Gossip is moving. And I was like, oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Yeah.
It'll
Like
be
I
7
have,
years in February that we've moved to the
Yeah.
new location.
I remember
Where was
going
the
to
old
Gossip
location?
it was where, right next to HBC, where Harley Gray was.
No.
Is that what it's
Oh
called?
my gosh.
It used
Oliver
to be
Twist?
Oscar Wilde.
Oscar Wilde, that's what
Wilde.
it was.
Yeah.
It's
They
one
took
of
over after
those.
Gossip. Yeah.
But yeah, I have very fond memories and still do of Gossip. Like, oh
Really.
man, I was there at karaoke so many times with my friend Lena, and like, there's been so many stories, so many prides at Gossip Grill.
Yes.
And then waking
Oh,
up the
God.
next day and being like, oh shit, what did I do?
Yeah.
I missed the frozen rosé that you guys
Yeah,
did.
the frosé,
I
sashimi
was
frosé.
Yeah, in 2000, I think it was summer 2018. I was addicted to those. Every time I went, that's all I would drink. They were so good.
And little pink glitter all around the outside of the
Yep.
glass.
Yep. What about you, Rob? I know you have memories of Gossip Grill.
Yeah. Well, one of them was not. It was a memory, but
yeah.
it was we hadn't been there very long, and we were there with a group of friends, and I might have been the only white guy there.
Yeah,
with,
it was-
with our group of friends.
It was my sister's birthday, remember?
Yes,
and we
that's
had
right.
and she loves gossip.
And I
like, that
just-
was her jam.
I just got my drink, and they're all dancing because the old space had the little dance floor, but like all of a sudden, like they're like, quit dancing like a white boy and like put some hip into it or move, and so I'm like, okay, so I tried it. Next thing I know, I dislocate my knee. The drink is all over the floor, and then I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go take a cab home because I'm like, my knee is like gone. Like
It
on
was
the side.
gone. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So then
So
we
it
had
was-
to take him home.
Yeah, physical therapy for 6 months.
And I remember I was really drunk on and so I was like, "Are you okay? I'm gonna drop you off at the house, and then I'm gonna walk back to Gossip and finish the party with my sister." And I came home that night, and you were just out cold. And then
you literally dislocated your knee.
Yeah, he was in this physical therapy for 6 months after that.
That
in a
is
brace.
the single most Caucasian thing I've heard.
Right?
See, this is why I don't dance.
I think there's probably been quite a few injuries just from falling off bar stools after
Oh, yeah.
But then I was super excited when you guys moved to the new location where you currently are, because it was so much bigger and just so much more comfortable. And it's like the perfect location in Hillcrest, too. Which is,
we didn't have a dance license. We used to always joke around and say, you can't dance, you have to sway.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't in our liquor license, we weren't allowed to dance, even though it would happen anyway.
Yeah.
And we knew after 6 months, I looked at Stefan, I said, we need a bigger boat. Like, we need a bigger place. So we just kind of kept looking. We looked at that space 3 times.
Oh, really?
And kept saying no, because, there were 3 different bars that were in there at the new location in 4 years. And every time we would go after and look, but we didn't want to take the whole place because the place was massive. It's like 16,000 square feet. We just wanted 6,000, the space that we have. And then finally, after the 3rd time, and the 3rd business going out there, she called us, the landlord called us and said, okay, I'll break it up. So that's like, we all eventually end up there. It's just, we had to wait for the time to be right.
When I remember, it was Universal. And then there was another one, and that was the where your guys' patio, the main one, was part of the other building, if I remember right.
It was Eden. And then the Range, 1220 the Range. Yeah. And it opened up into what is now Sleep Train.
Yeah, because it was that big doorway, and you can go in and out. Way back in the day. Wow. Oh, my God. What do you think of seeing that the old building aflame? They're keeping the facade, but they're opening it up. I heard rumors of a jazz bar, and then there's going to be, condos above or something like that?
I mean, the Flame is iconic.
It really is.
It's a landmark. There's a lot of stories. For all you folks at home, little fun story about the Flame. The Flame is, probably not anymore, but was really extremely haunted back in the day.
Really?
It used to be a brothel. The brothel was burned down by the Christian Coalition back in like the 30s, I think it was. I don't remember the date. And Annie, who was the manager, the brothel manager, she died in the fire. And then there was another person that was stabbed in there in the 80s. And, anyway, there was lots of spirits, a lot of stories. And the things that would happen there are really creepy.
Oh my God, I love that shit. I am such a sucker for that shit.
I became friends with Annie. I would talk to her all the time because she would move drinks and channels and, things that bar stools would fall over and all these things. I'm like, hi, Annie, there's a Flame.
Fog that come out on the dance floor.
One day we had City's Finest Square Dancers. They used our dance floor on Wednesday. I was our bartender. And they're like, Mo, there's a fire. And I'm like, what? And I go out there and it's the fog from the fog machine. Now, for folks that don't work in clubs, or know about fog is very heavy. So if you don't have bodies to mix it up, it kind of creeps and rolls along the bar like it's literally walking the bar. It's super creepy. And so it kind of started crawling on the bar. I'm like, what the heck? So I go to the DJ booth. The fog machine is unplugged.
What?
That was not, it was, but it was working. This is a prime example of stuff that would happen at the Flame all the time.
Oh, God, I'd be like, give me an exorcism, get me out of here. God damn.
And it's just down the street.
Crazy things.
No, oh my God, I didn't know that about the Flame.
Maybe this is why we have a ghost here too.
I know our place is haunted. We have a ghost and it drives us freaking. Claude is a nightmare. Claude is an absolute
nightmare. Can I share one more story?
Yeah, go ahead.
So at the new Gossip, we don't have any issues. Well, we didn't have any issues until recently with spirits or anything. We have an amazing, Tony, I don't know if you know this, and Rob, both of y'all, when you go there, Miriam, I may have told you, but there is a half disco ball on the inside in that VIP area above the stage where the Queens perform. That ball is Bette Midler's disco ball that she used to come down on at Caesar's Palace.
Bette Midler?
And talk about it, like how Bette used to come down on this disco ball. That is that disco ball. Stefan flew to Vegas, bought it, and then rented a U-Haul because none of us had a big enough vehicle to get it back and drove it back. It cost more to get it back than it was to buy it. In that disco ball, we have created a shrine for all the folks that have passed. Unfortunately, suicide is a real thing in our community. And, you know, we have unfortunately lost a lot of our guests and friends. So anybody is welcome to put a picture of one of our guests or someone they've lost up there. So they're always with us and they're always on the dance floor with us. They're always a part of that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what is up there. I have no idea.
Wow.
But in the last, like 8 months, we've got something. There's some sort of spirit now at Gossip. I'm like, I've never felt it until recently. My staff's been telling me about it, and the syncs are turning on all the time. And I think I know who it is. I think I know who it is. But yeah,
is it a good?
Bringing my sage on Thursday.
Mariam, is it a good spirit or?
Yes,
good spirit.
Yeah,
it's
same
like
with ours.
Homes, you know. I mean, I think that's what made it so special is we would do this kind of offering and we've had quite a few people that have literally, I don't want to say not a funeral there, but have a memorial gathering. And we pop that picture up in the disco ball.
You know, Gossip is a home away. It's your other home. It's a home away from home.
That is
It is.
true.
If you don't know what to do, that's where you go, especially for the women's community. When something bad happens, such as Orlando, the shootings at Orlando, or the power outage in 2009 or 2010, people don't know where to go, so they come home. They come to Gossip. You know, that's why the sign says "Welcome home, beautiful." You know, it's like we're their home. So whenever we lose someone in our community, it's very common. They reach out to me and they're like, "Can we just all meet at Gossip? Are you okay with that? I just need to be around my family, you know, and just be around my community." Absolutely. So
that is amazing. I did not know that tidbit, and everybody that listens to the show knows me. I am like the biggest Bette Midler fan. So that is like, I was like,
you
Rob,
guys are with Stevie the way he is.
I am with Bette. Like literally since 6th grade, I've been obsessed with her, and I still am. So I did not know that, and I always wondered about the disco ball because I remember I've seen it there, but oh my God, now that's gonna have a whole nother meaning for me when I go to Gossip. Wow. So one of the other things, Gossip, you guys are doing during this pandemic that I enjoyed because I tuned in was Hen House Happy Hour.
During the first quarantine, you know, I was bored. I was at home. I mean, we weren't really doing too much at the time. I mean, I was working, but it was minimal because we weren't open. And so I started doing hen house videos at home, just kind of teaching people how to make, you know, cocktails and how to do fun things like balance a martini on your head. It wasn't just cocktail oriented. It was also kind of fun flair stuff or, you know, just little tricks of the trade. And it went really, really well. So during the second shutdown, we decided to take it a step further and kind of go live on Gossip's platform. Instead of it just being something I'm doing on the side, take it live with Gossip and sell drink kits. So you can actually get your kit ahead of time. I put out the drink that we're going to make. Everything is packaged up for you. We keep them usually around $25. It makes 4 drinks. So it's a great deal. And you can take your kit home and we make it together. And Dawn helps me. You know, she's now behind the bar with me. Which is great because she's not a bartender and she works in the beauty hair world. So it's good for her to be back there because she asked me questions that I don't think about, you know, and that because, you know, I am the professional and she's not. So it's good.
It's a good dynamic.
We play off each other real well.
Yes, you do.
I love to make her super uncomfortable too. It's one of my most favorite things. I like to call her Daddy. Oh yeah, she just loves that.
Yeah, she said that in front of my mother last week. I was like, God.
Well, no. Okay, but that's just because your mom had made some kind of comment about her being mommy, and I said that makes her about as uncomfortable as when I call her daddy. So don't say that.
But it is an entertaining show, and you, Mo, you go like I don't look at you as a bartender, but more of a mixologist because you really know your booze way more than like I do. I was like, there are different kinds of whiskeys and bourbons. I did not know that. I thought there was all the kind of the same.
I think people really connect with the story, and that's what I think what makes the Hen House a little different than a lot of cocktail virtual events is it's about the brand. It's about there's so much history, especially with whiskey. There's so much history in these in a lot of these distilleries. You know, they go back hundreds of years. So I like sharing the story and where it comes from and what it means.
How do you pick which, like this last episode you did on Thursday? Was it it was Thursday, I believe, or it was this Thursday,
Or the
right?
chai,
You
the Ryder
guys,
chai,
the which one?
Ryder chai. Yeah,
Yes.
Ryder
How do you
chai.
guys pick which one you're gonna feature? Because what I think that no, was it the one from Seattle you guys were
Yeah,
talking about? Yeah. So
yeah,
how do you pick which whiskey or bourbon or whatever the main liquor is? Like, where do you pick it from, and how do you
Well,
find these
it's got to be
places?
something. Usually, first off, it's got to be something I enjoy. It's like something I like. Number two, the flavor profile's got to match with the drink.
Yeah.
Woodinville has a very rye heavy, more malt mash bill versus corn. So it goes really well with that drink. I know a lot about this random stuff. So that's usually how I pick. I also take care of the folks that take care of me. And during this pandemic, Woodinville stepped up, Jameson stepped up, Tito's has stepped up huge. They've paid for my staff. They've given us, gift cards to grocery stores so they can actually eat dinner. There's grant programs going on from them. They've really basically come and said, I'm going to run my card for however much money. It could be a couple hundred, it could be 1,000, it could be multi-thousand. And I want this to go to you and your staff so you guys can survive. So those brands that have really been there for us, I want to make sure I support them and give back in the ways I can.
Yeah.
But it is all something she's very passionate about, or, it's not just, if it's something that she's not into, then you really don't.
Right. I like liquors that have a good story, like Uncle Nearest. Uncle Nearest is my new jam. It's a whiskey, but it's actually Uncle Nearest is made by the family of Ernest Green, who was the one that taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey.
What?
In the history of Jack Daniels, they credit the shop owner that Jack worked for in training him how to make whiskey, but really it was Ernest Green, who was a slave. He was enslaved and owned by the shopkeeper, and he was the #1 distiller of whiskey at like 13 years old. And he taught Jack Daniels how to make it and then became his master distiller. His family, 3 generations later, still work. A lot of his family still works for Jack and are whiskey in the whiskey business. His great granddaughter is a master blender, and they started Uncle Nurse Whiskey Company in paying respects to Ernest Green. And she is the one that did the master blending on the newest whiskey, the 1884 that's out right now. Jack Daniels, the company Jack Daniels, has rewritten all their history books to include Ernest Green because he was written out of it because he was a slave.
Wow. See, this shit fascinates me. Like, I would be more inclined to buy a whiskey if I know that back. I'm like, nope, that's the one.
Absolutely.
Same with wines. I mean,
exactly,
that's
Dawn. Exactly.
Story.
Yeah.
But, I know a lot of people are listening and not actually watching, but Mo keeps looking up, and we have a bar that's on the other side of where we're sitting right now with over 150 different bottles.
That's my favorite part about going to Moe and Dawn's house.
That's like a full bar. What are you talking about? You can open your business in your own house.
More than most bars, but between all the whiskeys, the gins, the tequilas, the vodkas, the cognacs and brandies. Plus, we've got a almost 400 bottle wine refrigerator too. We like to drink; it's kind of part of our life.
Love booze.
The reason why Hen House has really become such a focus for us. So
Hen House is very enjoyable because you get, like with anything, like we try to do with this show, you get a bit of education and entertainment. And I think that's super important to it. And you two do that with the Hen House. You go in, you leave with something you didn't know, and you're highly entertained. So it is like the perfect combination. So for our listeners, if there is somebody going out and they're looking, they don't know what kind of whiskey or bourbon to buy, what advice would you give them when they're looking into, I want to buy somebody a gift, a nice bottle of whiskey? What would it be? Or how do I go about shopping for that? I
probably would go with, blends get a little swirly if you don't know what you're looking for, because it could end up being kind of crappy.
Yeah.
I enjoy blends, but you kind of got to know what you're looking for with that. Your safest bet is to go with something that is labeled bourbon or labeled rye. I personally like rye more, but I think for a beginner, someone who's rather new, bourbon or Irish. Jameson is always a good starter. It's a starting whiskey, and then you can go from there, but it's a little bit sweeter. Irish whiskeys have more of a malt content, so they're a little bit sweeter. And then bourbons are corn, and ryes are obviously rye.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just want to go with a bourbon that says bourbon on it. Or
that says bourbon.
Then you're getting, when you start getting into blends, it could be something like house. You don't know. You just don't know what it's blended with. So.
The other thing I find very interesting that has always confused me, but when I tune into Hen House, you talk about it, is the bitters. Like, yes. I have no idea what bitter I would pick, what goes with what even a bitter is, which I guarantee a lot of people don't. So explain that to them. And you use local businesses too, especially here in San Diego.
I really try hard to use local businesses or minority-owned businesses, whether Black owned, minority owned, women owned, people of color owned, anything. That's where I just try to focus my dollars, but bitters and to give back. Yeah. Bitters is basically like roots, herbs. It could be like peels. It could be a variety. It could be anything.
Yeah.
And it's fermented. It's something that doesn't happen overnight. You usually have to ferment it for, a good amount of time. It could be like 10 days, a couple weeks, whatever, and let that process happen. The thing that people don't know about bitters, that people don't know is that, sorry. I don't know how to turn that off.
Work is always happening.
It's right.
Yeah, my cook's locked out. I've been trying to give him the code so we can get in. Bitters has a really high alcohol content.
Oh, it does? I didn't know that. I thought they had no alcohol in it.
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, shit.
And 90 proof.
Yeah. Oh. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Now you know. Hungover, just throw
What, Mariam?
If you're hungover, just throw some bitters and some soda water and call it a day. Wake your ass up.
Absolutely. The best way to settle an upset stomach is bitters and soda water.
I didn't really know that.
That's a good tip.
I know it is, especially for our audience.
I know.
I love bitters.
Oh, wow. So
use a few drops. You never want to use too much. It'll ruin it because it really is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the other thing you two do is wine club at Inside Out, which I miss going to wine clubs so much. Miss Mariam T hosts that.
You miss. I miss. I got paid to get shit wrecked every month.
And it was always perfect because you guys did it when we were able to go out and enjoy it in person. You guys did it around 3 or somewhere later in the afternoon. And it was right after our show. So it was always perfect timing where we would be somewhat loaded after the show and then go to wine club. It was one of my favorite things in San Diego to do on a Saturday. How did that passion start with? Because wine kind of scares me. Because I never know what to get, what's good, what's not. You know what I mean? But the wines you pick for Wine Club have been amazing. All of them have been great picks. So how did that start for you guys?
It doesn't happen overnight. I mean, Dawn and I have really developed our palates throughout the years, and enjoying wine. And we both have found a passion and a love for it. And, wine creates good memories. It accents food. It does a lot, it makes things taste better, but it really is about creating memories. Yeah. And I want to share that with people. And gossip is a bar. I mean, we are a bar.
Yeah.
It's not a wine place. It's not that place. Inside, I've always wanted to do something like this, but Inside Out, which is our other restaurant, our classier, fancier, swankier elevated restaurant up the street, offers a wine selection. We actually have a Corvin wine program, that we can Corvin any bottle in the house, which is a whole nother thing that's really cool. But that gave us a platform to do that. But we just
have a passion for wine. I mean, even our first conversations when we first met, our whole first date was based around buying a bottle of wine. And that was one thing I asked Mo in the beginning, was that if she liked wine. I was living right before that out on a vineyard out up in the Temecula area. And I just have this thing for wine. I love the stories. I love the feeling that wine gives me, not just between the buzz, but I love the stories of it. And I love that there's no right or wrong. Like when you said, how do I know what to choose? You choose what you like. It's not about a price tag or, a picture on the bottle. You choose what you like. And it really is, it's fun. And you explore that palette and it begins to really evolve and change over time.
If I have a piece of advice, if you're buying wine, if you're not sure what to get, don't get anything that just says California.
Unless you know what it is.
Like if it just says California, it's probably a blend from grapes from all over California, which there's nothing wrong with any wine. Every wine is great. And, I don't want to discredit any wine, but you want to find a local region. So instead of buying wine from California, maybe you buy Napa Valley or Paso Robles or Sonoma or Oakville, or you kind of want to find something that's a region, because then there's more love that goes into that. It's a little bit harder wine made. So that's a good piece of advice. If you don't know what you're buying and you're not really sure, and I probably wouldn't buy anything under $6, but you don't need to buy anything over 15 either. That $8, $9, $10 range is great. Just make sure it's got a region on it.
So $2 Chuck is always a no. Right?
Well, that's a whole other story. That could be a yes.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. But there's about the $2 Chuck.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was actually, a decent wine at the time.
That was a wife getting revenge on her husband.
Yeah.
What? I didn't know this. There's a story behind it?
No, the wife sold it.
Oh, she's
the wife sold his wine, his really, really nice wine, Charles. I think it started as Charles Schwab, whatever.
Yeah.
She sold it for dirt cheap to Trader Joe's to get through him.
Yeah.
In a divorce, and somehow it just kept going and now it's a thing. But
now it's a thing. Yeah. Wow, I did not. There is so much into wine and all that stuff.
Oh God, yeah. And then we're in love with the vineyards. The experiences, the memories that we have created. Just
what we can remember.
Yeah.
I have a question for both of you each. What has been your favorite vineyard here in San Diego County and outside of San Diego County for each of you that you would recommend?
I'm going to include Temecula because I haven't really found anything out here. We haven't really been to the Valle down in Mexico, but I haven't really been to local San Diego wineries as much. But Temecula, my favorite is Akash, Akash. It's a rather new winery up there, and I love that they have gender neutral bathrooms. They're stepping up the game. But
they're definitely very Napa forward too.
Yeah, but they're Temecula.
Yeah.
I think they've got a really good thing going. They're kind of a new kid on the block, but I think they're a game changer for Temecula, and they're really going to push Temecula to up their wines.
Yeah.
Nice. What about you, Dawn?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm such a Napa girl.
Well, what's your favorite winery Napa?
Oh gosh. And that's so hard. I look at more regions. I mean, like I wouldn't just say this is my favorite winery. I'd probably say my favorite region is between Oakville and Rutherford. So it's pretty much, I love anything along that whole main drag of in Napa. What is that? Is that 111 I'm thinking of? Or no, 111 is what is the
129 Silverado Trail.
So there's so many. I mean, I'm definitely a red drinker. But I appreciate so many different types of wines.
I think my favorite for experience wise, I mean, we've been to some great places up there with caves and all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah. But I honestly think my favorite for experience is Joseph Phelps and Duckhorn. And the wine, of course, is incredible, but it's the experience, it's the view, it's the Duckhorn's got a personal cheese board that comes out. It's everything that goes with it.
It's the experience that all goes into it. How many times have you gone to a vineyard or people go to vineyards and you fall in love with something, you buy all this wine, you get totally excited, you have a great time, you get home, you open it up, a month or two later and think, wow, what was I thinking? Because you're not there having this experience. I mean, you're so mesmerized, you fall in love. Yeah. It's, with whoever's telling you the stories and the way they pour it in the bottle and the way the glass is, it's the ambiance around you. And then you think, wow, yeah, I'm done with that.
Yeah,
or we bought something now like, oh yeah, I remember that place. And then we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. This so good. How can we get our hands on this? More of it. Yeah.
So how do you pick what wine you're going to feature for Wine Club? And just to let our audience know, you guys are still doing the virtual wine club.
Yeah, we are. Right? The next one, it's always the last Saturday of the month. So the next one will be last Saturday. We're doing it virtual this month again. And normally what I do pre-COVID, PC, I pick a winery. So let's say it's Keenan Winery up in Spring Mountain in Napa. And then I get a list of all their wines and I choose what I want to try. I get samples sent to me and we go from there.
Okay.
With COVID, it's been really interesting because with liquor companies, they don't have budgets to have samples anymore. So I've kind of had to go into some of this blind and pick my best guess. But I work with Billy, which Tony, Rob, you both probably know Billy. Billy's our sommelier.
Yeah.
He's a professional.
He's our professional. He works at Young's Market. So he's a friend and amazing. Oops, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Frida. Miss Frida's calling. Billy has really helped me lately because he's a sommelier and he's got a lot more knowledge than I have. And so he's been kind of walking me through everything during this COVID without getting samples or trying to get samples. So it's been a really good team lately.
Yeah. But one thing I have to say, there's that gratitude that you get of COVID right now, because I know we can't all be together, but we are blessed that we've had Zoom, because these relationships that we've cultivated with our people that come to Wine Club, even in the chat, we have full-on conversations. I feel like I know everyone so well, and I might never seen you or met you in person, but I know you because we sit and chat at Wine Club together. We have fun. We spend 2 hours together. I mean, these people, it's grown and grown and grown with Wine Club. What it was, Mariam, I'm sure you remember when you first started doing Wine Club, upstairs having maybe 7 people.
Yep. I remember being at the first Wine Club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now it's like 65.
We had 24 people our first time. Now we sell out.
Yeah.
And I think
to cap it off.
70 was the most we could fit during COVID last time. So,
but online we've been able to have up to 200. We can have these big groups that can come together and all enjoy the wine in a different way and really feel like they're in your home. We feel like we're sharing wine with our friends.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it makes wine tasting less intimidating for folks, and it's educational. So it's fun. You get a little bit of drag. Yeah. You get your munchies. Everybody gets the charcuterie boards. We do prizes. It's really fun.
And you get drunk.
You get drunk. That is so true. You get drunk.
So you still feel good the next day.
Yeah. Before COVID, before the lockdown, I loved it because Wine Club was at the perfect time, and you get the just amount of drunk where you want to go out and party even more. But for Wine Club, you guys are still doing a virtual, and you can get all the information at Inside Out's website. I know you can go there and get it. We'll have links on our website for that. But I love it. I miss going out in person and doing Wine Club. Yeah.
Wine Club is truly my favorite.
Started last month.
What was that, Mo?
We just started last month doing a travel club for wine. So we're doing a virtual travel. So instead of, you can't go to Italy right now or go to France, but you can go there with the wines and the food. And we did it last month. And we did, what did we do last month?
Oh, we did I think it was.
all South America.
Yeah.
We did all South
how
America.
Cool.
And Chef Mary Jo made this incredible food. The food, I can't even tell you how over the top amazing it was paired with the wine. And it was absolutely amazing.
Meal.
So we're a four course meal, 4 wines. And we're doing it again next Wednesday with Billy. It's kind of Billy's sommelier. He's kind of running this. I'm doing it with him. And this time we're doing all islands. Yeah. So
really?
Santorini, Australia. I mean, all different islands.
So good.
New Zealand's kind of a stretch, but yeah. So that'll be our next one. We're really excited.
Wow. That sounds good.
We're going to put up the link for Inside Out. Just make sure you click in the bio, because this will actually lead you to all the different events that are happening, because I feel like also you're exploring right now, trying to find out, well, what can we do to break up the monotony of our weeks and our days. And there's always something going on. And between like the passport dinner, we're calling it passport because you can travel throughout the world basically with wine and food. And again, you're live with us. You eat and enjoy an amazing meal, and together we all sit and still chat together. But that's fun. And then same with the Wine Club. But if you want to know more, like Wine Club's consistent. It's always the last Saturday of every month. It's always from 3 to 5. But passport is now what, like it varies. So, but there's so many different things that are coming up.
Yeah, and for Gossip Grill, I know right now you guys have the liquor store kind of open where you can literally buy liquor, full bottles. And somebody who was telling me that you guys even sell some like groceries through there too.
We do.
Which I was like, wait a minute, you can get eggs or something at Gossip Grill? I'm like, oh my God, that is amazing.
If I can sell it, I'll sell it. I mean, times are not easy right now.
Yeah.
I'm a hustler. I actually sold 20 pounds of prime rib, for
Christmas.
For Christmas.
Did
People
you
are
really?
Like, buy prime rib. Don't go to the grocery store. Buy it for me. Buy it for me. I get it cheaper.
Right. I love that.
Yeah. I'll get you a good cut of meat. All right. But the liquor store, and we spell it different for you folks at home. It's not liquor like normal. It's LIQ-HER, liquor bot.
Yeah.
Play off, being a women's bar, of course.
Always. If you look at your menu, it's all over your menu.
Yeah. But yes, if it's in the house, I'll sell it. Like we are selling booze, bottles of booze. We're selling kits. The kits are great. It comes with a bottle of booze, all your mixers, your garnish, swag. It comes with everything. It's a one-stop shop.
It's really cool because I know our other host, Bashi, did that a couple weeks and we put it on our Insta. I was like, you get all of that in the kit? What the hell? That is a lot.
All your party favors.
Yeah.
Bashi ordered drag queen delivery on Thursday.
Which I was going to talk about is so we've talked about it and we've mentioned it many times on our show, but how did the drag queen delivery, which Miss Mariam T is a drag queen who delivers on Thursday nights, the to-goes. How did that come about? Who came up with that idea?
We just had a brainstorm meeting and we just had a management meeting. And I think it was actually Dwayne, or maybe unicorn, but we came up with two ideas and it was drag queen delivery and unicorn delivery. And the unicorn delivery is like a big blow up outfit. And it's fabulous. It's a lot of fun.
It's clever. And it's
my staff
so
an opportunity to go out and make some tips and, make a little money on the side.
Because I know in the Bay Area, they were doing that and they stopped. So I know with our friends at Instinct Magazine, they were reaching out to us because Miriam's like one of the queens who is doing it now in California. Which I think is such a clever idea because one, it's for you guys, the bar, you guys are getting that income. And then also two, it gives the drag queens something to do and make tips and money on that too. So I think it's great.
How fun is the guest, I mean,
and it makes people
often, can you look out your window and see this amazing queen running towards you with a bag of food?
And it gives you a bit of the days before COVID when we were able to go to drag shows.
It gives a little bit of normalcy.
Yes, Miss Mariam. How are you doing it, Miss Mariam?
I love it. I mean, I have had to learn what to wear and what not to wear because it's a lot of up and down, in and out of the car. And I am no dainty woman with no dainty hair.
We know.
But I mean, it's been about a month now, so I've got it down, and it's really fun. Like my last delivery this past Thursday was like, you were the only drag I have seen in months. And and we just sat and I stood there at her doorstep and we talked for like 10 minutes. She was my last delivery of the night, and it made her whole week. You could tell and I had a surprise birthday delivery. Mm-hmm. Somebody ordered a surprise birthday package for their friend, and she had no idea I was coming. So I knocked on the door, and she was surprised to see the drag queen and didn't know she was getting a gift. So it supports local, it supports artists. It's great.
And I love that you can deliver booze too. So that's the other thing too. It's like not just food, order some booze, know?
Oh, I had a question for you, Mo, because you talked about this on Hen House last time. CBD infused booze, which isn't at bars yet. But you did, I think it was it bitters or was it actual alcohol?
It was a bitters. Yeah, it's actually called CBD. It's called CBD bitters, but also a Black-owned female company. So to support her. And you can get that at Collins and Coop. So I'm going to give him a shout out. He's my go-to guy. He's a bartender supply here off Utah and El Cajon. I get all my bitters from him.
In North Park.
In North Park, yeah, because I know
friendly and supportive.
For people who listen to our show, they know we take a lot of cannabis. We're very big supporters of cannabis. So when I saw that, I was like, is there a plan for that ever to be in bars when you guys do reopen, that there is going to be
it's
alcohol?
Not too far off.
Really?
We were hoping to have it passed by last November, but with COVID and everything, it just hasn't gotten there yet. But it's not too far off. THC going in cocktails is very far off. CBD going into cocktails, I'm hoping we'll see it within this year. the main thing is there's no structure in place on how they're gonna manage it and how they're gonna like make sure that people aren't overdosing or whatever.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, there's no one to manage it. There's no group put together yet that like a board or whatever to manage that yet. So a lot of bars are doing it, but they're kind of doing it underground.
Oh, gotcha.
It is not legal.
What is your experience with it? Like, what is the difference?
Oh, we have a blast. No, I'm kidding.
I bet. Like, so people who don't know, like CBD infused bitters or alcohol, like what is the difference between regular alcohol for the people who may not know?
So the CBD does not have THC in it.
Yes,
so
you're not going to get that high.
You're not going to get the same reaction out of that CBD as you do if it's mixed with cannabis, as you all know over here, my experienced panel over here.
We know.
It does give you a sense of relaxation.
Nice.
It just kind of.
I love CBD.
Kind of clears your mind a little bit, and just.
So it'll have the same benefits from CBD if you smoke it or do the edibles or any of those, but it's infused into the bitters and alcohol. So that same health benefits that CBD has, you're going to get that in the bitters and alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice. Oh,
I mean, there's not a lot in there, but it does. It just you just have a little bit of more of a less anxiety. Your brain's a little not as cluttered with all the, the mind chatter.
Yeah. It just fills you ever so slightly.
Which is always good.
Not as good as an edible. An edible of the cocktails, much better.
That's a good time.
Much better.
Yeah. Do you have don't wake up hungover the next morning. That's my favorite part.
Yeah. For sure. Do you both have a favorite dispensary here in San Diego that is a go-to?
Yeah, we go through March and Ash.
Oh, that's ours. Yep, they've been on our show. They when we had them on the show for our 420 episode. I think it was last year, the year before. They brought over so much samples of weed. Our co-host, my other co-host, Bash.
Hot smoking episode.
Oh God, he did. I think it was a dab for the first time on air. Oh, he was gone. He literally, he was up, and then it was just quiet. And then right when the episode ended, he's like, I need to go lay down in the room. So he came in our extra room. It was ow, fetal position, laughing to himself over YouTube stuff. It was hilarious.
I forget what episode number it is. I know we did it in around April 20th of last year before. So check out the March and Ash episode.
Yeah, it was a great
very informative.
It was very informative.
I don't know if you all remember, but we used to do wake and bakes at Gossip.
Yeah.
I remember. I missed those.
Yes, we worked with MJ Tours. I love those folks so much. MJ Tours, and they pull the van out back, and March and Ash would pull up and sell product, and then you go smoke in the van, not connected to Gossip, and then you come back. And I got to tell you, I saw more food on that day than any other day of the year.
I bet.
And people were kind to one another, having a wonderful time. Yes.
Yeah.
I love the wake and bake brunches. I miss those so much.
And a munchy menu.
We're not able to do them anymore. Hopefully San Diego will change laws again. And
so my last question for you both before we wrap it up is, what do you see the future of this industry, bar restaurant, going to be coming up this year and going forward? Because we know COVID's changed everything. So how do you see the future, especially for Gossip Grill, going forward from here on?
Right now it's survival mode. Everyone's survival mode. We got to get through it. And I mean, I don't know how long this is going to go, and I don't know if we're going to make it. Money only goes so far, and without help, I don't know. But if we can round it, it's going to be cutting it close. But my gut says we'll make it through it. And my gut says it's going to be a really good year. But we just got to get over that hump.
Yeah.
Right now, if you look at all bars, everyone is we're going to redo all of inside of Gossip. Like everyone's rethinking how they're doing things. Yeah. How can they cut hours? How can we do this? Like reconceptualizing everything. And everything's going to look different. Moe's is going to look different. Inside Out's going to look different. Gossip's going to look different. We have to adjust with the times, and we have to cut funds where we can, to make it through this. But I do think when we finally get a vaccine and people actually take the vaccine, please take the vaccine so we can open.
Please, people.
I think everyone's just gonna come out, and it's just gonna be
that day when we are allowed to. Oh, you're so right, Dawn. The day we are allowed to like have normalcy, somewhat normalcy back, it is
Yeah.
going to be a shit show in the
It
most
is.
amazing way, and I cannot wait.
Absolutely. And I'm
It's gonna be Gathering Central.
I'm so thankful for all the support and
Yeah.
just everyone at home keep supporting, because right now we were all planning on being open by now, and we're
Yeah.
still closed.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like we're going to open anytime soon. And there's a lot of restaurants going down.
Go ahead,
Can I just say that I have to say thanks to Moe's Universe for sticking to the rules and doing it the right way.
Doing it the right way.
All of their bars,
for sure.
In fact, anytime we had a birthday this year, we didn't go anywhere else other than a Moe's Universe place because I don't trust some of these other places. So I just wanted to say they should be.
Yeah, to all of you involved with the Moe's Universe, it's been even during the pandemic, you still feel very comfortable going to the establishment because you guys are following the rules and making it a safe place for everybody.
I can't live with the fact that if I were to get someone sick and they died because of us not doing what we're supposed to, I can't do it. I can't live with that. So we've been really adamant, and my staff. I don't want my staff to get sick either.
Yeah.
You know. So we take care of each other, and we're all family, and
right.
And
that is one of the joys with not just Gossip Girl, but just the whole Moe's Universe. They've really created for our community a family. Like whether you go to Inside, it is. Whether you go to Inside Out, Gossip, Moe's, Betty, it's this staple in the community, and it really brings so much comfort to so many people in our community. Which it's all because of you guys who run the places. So thank you for that.
And Hillcrest Brewing Company too.
Hillcrest. Oh, HBC has the best pizza. Go! I love their pizza. I'm like obsessed with it, especially their white sauce pizza. Oh, so good. What?
$10. I think it's 2 topping pizzas for $10.
$10.
Yeah. At HBC.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I love their pizza, and they have one of the best of their beers, their stout, their coconut stout that they have there. I was religious about it. But before we wrap it up, Miss Mariam, what has been one of your favorite memories with Gossip Girl? I'm curious.
Well, I don't know if this counts. One, because it's not much of a memory. And it wasn't. So the Moe's staff parties are always at Gossip Grill. And from what I remember, from the 2018 and 2019 staff parties, we had a great fucking time. No, Moe's Universe puts together a real bitchin' holiday party for the staff.
Oh, that's so good.
Lots of presents, amazing food, an obscene amount of alcohol.
And tons of
I'll say my first Moe's holiday party, I woke up the next day with Grotesca in my bed, and there were just empty cans of Code Red Mountain Dew all over, and the PlayStation was still going. We stayed up playing PlayStation. I don't remember how long, but I just woke up next to Grotesca, and I was like, the fuck is she doing in my
like
bed?
A nightmare, Grotesca.
I was like, what happened? We were just drinking Mountain Dew and playing video games until the wee hours of the morning.
That is amazing.
Probably the holiday parties.
Right? So, Moe and Dawn, how do people find you on social if they want to look you guys up and everything like that and get in contact?
So my handle on Instagram is Moe Stoltz at Moe Stoltzton. It's Moe Gerton on Facebook. And Dawn?
And I'm Dawn Stoltz on Instagram. So on IG. Same.
Yes. And everybody, you can go to Gossip Girl, their website, and get all the information of everything we talked about. Tune into Hen House. You guys, when do you do it every Thursday?
Every Thursday at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
As long as we're locked down.
Yeah. Yep. Go check it out. It is very entertaining. I cannot say much about just praise it as much as I can. You can follow us at Who Invited Her _podcast on Instagram, or Who Invited Her SD on Facebook and Twitter. And you can watch us every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on Out at TV. They have great programming over there. Go watch Shit Show with Grotesca, who's been a past guest on our show. She hosts that with Kevy Kev. And you guys don't forget to subscribe, give us a 5-star rating and a great review on Apple Podcasts. It helps us out a lot. You can follow me. It's Tony _baloney _macaroni _ Is that it, Rob? I can't remember my handle. Tony
Baloney Macaroni.
There you go. And Miss Mariam T, how do people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at the Mariam T, or my website, sheherme.com. I'm also on Facebook at Mariam T. if you want something fun to do, every Thursday night is Drag Queen Delivery for Gossip Girl from 3 to 7. You can order online. And also on January 21st, I will be doing virtual drag queen bingo for Aspen Gay Ski Week with my hometown sister, Miss Naomi Daniels. Anybody can play from anywhere in the world. It is a fundraiser for Aspen Out, which provides services for LGBT youth in underserved, very small, rural Colorado mountain towns.
Nice.
So that's a big fundraiser that we're doing for them.
Nice. That's a lot. You always have so much to end the show with. She's a busy lady.
It's hard being booked and popular.
I know. Oh, and before we go, don't forget to check out my other show, Film Springer. We do that show every Friday night at 8 o'clock. If you're a movie enthusiast, go watch that show. We review all of the movies you grew up with, and your sheltered friend who's never seen them, we expose them to it for the first time ever. So it's a great show. Go tune into that every Friday night at 7 o'clock at Out at TV. And that is it for us, everybody. Thank you, Moe and Dawn. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show this week. And we will see everybody next week. Bye.
Bye.